144 St. man. Y'all ain't fire, yeah, man. Hey. I ain't tryna be no secondary. Tryna live long, let my name be legendary. I want a top spot, yeah, we at the top. For that to happen, man, a lot of bodies gotta drop. Prepare for war, what you mean? Yeah, guns galore. As you can see, we can't even go into the store. I'm just saying, man, this shit about to get wild, right? A whole lot of gun sound. We in the jungle, what you mean? Yeah, it's wild, In World War III, what you mean? It's coming fast, Do you understand? Man, at times we in the end times, what you mean is about to end. So turn up, nigga, what you mean? Yeah, we about to get up out of here. Man, I'm just saying, man, the time, yeah, it's really near. I ain't trying to. Hey, man, this wine, this ain't no lean. 985 AM. Since I'm young, yes, I'm in the sun. I won't give it down, yes, I'm going far. Hey. Hey, since a youngin', what you mean I'm going far? Since a youngin', what you mean? Yes, I've always been a star. Yes, I'm on my P's and Q's, best believe I never fall. Still with them niggas, what you mean? That been here from the start. What you mean I really ball? What you mean until the fall? I don't give a damn, little nigga, what you mean I am a star? I'm really with them niggas, what you mean we counting figures? Yes, we really in the scriptures, we don't get about other niggas. I put this on the scriptures, only black and brown niggas. According to the scriptures, there's no only nigga that's niggas. And we ain't ducking small wood, nigga, get up with us. Cause we hardcore, what you mean, no fear up in us. Hey, no fear up in us. Niggas ain't be mad, cause we really follow them scriptures. We keep it with us, don't be no fool. Don't try to act cool, I keep that tool, I'll bring it out. Excuse me, that's rude. Just a goddamn youngin', what you mean I've been a star? Act like a nigga, what you mean I'm going far? Hey, yeah, I'm going far. Hey.
I clap it up. All right, Shalom. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding Gianna. Today is ISUPK's Austin's Monday History Breakdown class. For today's class, we're talking about the Hellenization of the Jews. This is a very important topic to go over because you got to understand what was the scene when Christ got on, right? A lot of people don't understand what's going on in the time of Christ, right? That we was under the Romans, but they don't know what happened before that, right? They don't know the condition of our people was in, what happened before then, how we was thinking, the reason we was doing what we was doing, why the Pharisees and Sadducees hate them. This all come down to what happened beforehand with the Greeks, right? The Greeks was responsible for crimes committed to our people to adapt their customs, right? You know, they did all types of crazy things to push their one world religion, one world agenda, and they very specifically push that on the Lord's chosen people because that's the main people they got to have be like them, because that's the only people that are in the way for getting what they want, right? Same thing like today in America, the people you got to push the agenda to is Black and Hispanics, right? You have the homosexuals. What they gotta do that is always Black people rather than homosexuals in movies, Black families, right? And Hispanics, they got to put that into our communities to make sure we, leave our customs. Planned Parenthood, of course, we know that's what Black women, Hispanic women, all these different things are what targeted to us. Christianity is targeted to who? The Black family, right? Catholic Church targeted to who? The Hispanic family. That's not our belief. That wasn't our belief, right? But we better Catholics than the white man, better Christians than the white man, right? And at this time, we're gonna see how we damn near almost became better Greeks than the Greeks itself, right? So let's get into it. We're gonna start now. One thing about this, we're gonna deal mostly with First Maccabees, right? The reason why I'm like this class because it shows how real the Bible is. How it's kind of going to show you how the Bible is just a history book, right? So we're gonna start off in First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 1, right? To most of the scriptures going to be down here. This is like the brief history of what happened when the beginning of the Hellenization, right? All right.
All right, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1.
Right.
And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip,
right,
the Macedonian,
right,
who came out of the land of Chittim,
right,
had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece.
Right. So Alexander, this is like the beginning when the white people start to rule again, right?
Right.
They start to the first who? Alexander the Great. That's what they call him. Alexander the Greek. We call him Alexander the Freak because he was a homosexual.
Right.
Right. So he's the man that you see everybody puts on a pedestal because at such a small time span, he was conquering everybody. You realize he said the Persians and the Medes. The Persians and the Medes was very, very, very strong kingdom.
Right.
They will kill anybody in their path. So they make sure that, like, oh, Alexander the Great killed them. You know, he was magnificent. That's why you see people about war stories. They always want to talk about Alexander the Great, Alexander the Greek, right? All people want to do what? Idolize him too. When they think they're good and bad. I know Mike Tyson, he said he want to, he like Alexander the Great or the Greek. I'm going to start calling him the Freak, man. But, I don't want to give him that. Right. Good night. But it says he was the first over Greece, right? Now we're going to understand what's going to come after this, right? You got verse 2, sir?
Come on. Verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
And Daniel conversed with the king and was honored above all. It's like, and made, verse 2, and made many wars, and won many strongholds,
right,
and slew the kings of the earth.
Right. So he was going over there conquering everybody, the kings of the earth. That's what Alexander the Great was doing, right? Keep going.
Come on. Verse 3, and went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations.
Right.
Insomuch that the earth was quiet before him.
What does that mean? It was quiet before him. Meaning when he come, he was wrecking havoc.
That's right.
Like he was going destruction. Like he made loud noise. Everybody knew his name.
Right.
Don't deal with these people. But they came and you couldn't stop them.
That's right.
And one thing about the Greeks, one thing about Alexander the Greek is that when they conquer the people, they put levies out to make those people fight in their military. Who does that sound like? That sounds like today's military.
That's right.
That's why you go about Cornelius, right? He wasn't, what they say Cornelius was? A Roman, right?
Right.
They try to say that, but he was just in that army.
Right.
Right? Just like if we talk about American, who are you talking about? In the American army, he was in the American army. That don't give you the race of that person.
Right.
It don't. You could be Hispanic, black, white, Asian. They have everybody in that military. So that's the exact same thing how Alexander the Greek was doing.
Right.
Go over there and force these people to serve them. It's kind of like if you watch Game of Thrones. If you watch Game of Thrones would they would go conquer people, they lay siege on the people, and it was like y'all can either bow down and join our military and call me the king, call me king, bend the knee. That's what they call it, bend the knee, right? Or what? If you don't, we're going to kill you. And that's what happened. All right, keep reading, sir, if you could.
Come on. Insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up.
Right. So if you see right here, I got a map. It shows everywhere that Alexander the Greek conquered in his empire. It was he was, like I said, he was wreaking havoc. The earth. That's why I said the earth was quiet before him. This is not too much history you gotta go over because everybody know about Alexander the Greek. Like I said, America put him on a pedestal, right? Even though that he did horrible things. Like even at the time, people believe that this was the first man to embody the role as the Antichrist. Right? That was Alexander the Greek. But yet America still does what? Idolize him. Because what does that tell you about America? America don't give a damn about how much bad you did to do something they call great.
Right.
Same thing with America. They don't give a damn about how many Native Americans they killed to build this place. They don't give a damn about that. So why would they give a damn about this? Right? That's why you have statues of men who had slaves. because he would do one thing that was good. They call it what they call it, manifest destiny.
Right.
It's for the greater good. That's what they call it, for the greater good. They think that 77 million Native Americans had to die for the greater good. Same thing right here, right? All right, the next verse, sir.
Con. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him.
Right.
Verse 5. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die.
Right. So like a lot of people don't know why he died. But we know why he died. And he was a homosexual. Most people died, then he died of what? AIDS. Right? But you know, of course, the white man, he's like, we don't know, he just died out of nowhere. But when he loved sleeping with men, that's what he did, right? Same person they put on the pedestal as a what? A homosexual. And this wasn't just him. That was the Greeks' culture. They couldn't even like sleeping with their own women. They made their women shave their heads off to get aroused. They would come actually like sneak into their doorway like as if it was like they raping somebody. That's how they get off. That's how white men get off today, by acting like they're raping somebody or sleeping with a man, right? They believe that sleeping with a man, the Greeks believe sleeping with a man will make you fight harder when you fighting beside them in battle.
Right.
That's what they believe. Yeah, camaraderie.
Right.
That's what they believe. And that's why right now you have people in the military, you get deployed for 2 years. Or 2 years just away from your family. And y'all don't even feel bad about it. See, black folks, we be like, man, that's split families apart. White boys, they go around there like it's the best thing ever to be around their buddies for a year or two in the wilderness, doing who knows what.
On a Navy ship.
Right, on Navy ships. You know, man, everybody know about the Navy.
Right.
You make jokes about it like it's not true. Why those stories came about? Everybody know about the Navy. Everybody know about the military. And you just seen about Vanessa Gillian. You see how that woman got raped. Those sisters not safe. You hear a sister talk about her time in the military. They always talk about how she was about to be raped or molested. Then when she gets out, she can't. It doesn't matter no more, right?
Damn.
It don't matter. They go out there, they get shamed, they lose their job. They just had a movie on Netflix about it. We just watched a movie about that. She said she was a magnificent soldier, and the man, her superior, wanted to go touch on her, and she wanted to go tell the other people. And they sent hate mail. How can you do this to your country? How dare you write about our culture, what we do? You know what they do? And who's the ones experiencing all this? It's always black and Hispanic women.
Right.
This was experiencing that, right? Now, you got the next verse, sir, if you could.
Huh. Verse 4. No, verse 6.
Verse 6.
Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them.
Right.
While he was yet alive.
So this is what happened after he he's going to die, right? So he divided his kingdom, right? Now you had let's see, 5 people he divided his kingdom into, right? You had Seleucus, Salag, if I mess these names up, Ptolemy, Antigonus, Ptolemy, right? Ptolemy, Antigonus, Cassander, and Lysimachus. I think I said that good. All right. So there's a map on there that shows you how the vision of the empire. Later on, this. Of course, when somebody dies, you give them some land. They now all gonna agree,
right? And
you're gonna see they end up fighting. For, you know what I mean? For more and more, right?
Right.
And of course, we covered this later. This is in 300 BC. So I remember we talked about the Dark Ages, the beginning of the Dark Ages, after 70 AD. So you see that long time span, right? And see how that long time span, 70 AD, and after that, we was in the Roman slave markets, right? This is after the Greeks. The Roman slave markets, and we had the two generals who was black that made another split in Rome, right? It showed how, like, from this time on that we worked our way up into the government, worked our way up into the system. And just like today's in America, you have black senators, black mayors, and all these different people. You have that, but it doesn't change the culture of these people. It don't, because when they do that, all they're doing is aligning themselves into that system. You can't beat the system that you was not meant to play in, right? Now, let's get First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 8.
Verse 8.
Right.
So Alexander reigned 12 years
Mhm.
and then died.
Mhm.
Verse 8. And his servants bare rule over one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them. Many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
And that's the crazy thing, man. They all put crowns upon themselves, like they're the man. And it shows the difference between the Lord and the heathens.
Right.
They promote themselves. They put them crowns on themselves. But you know who's gonna give us crowns? Christ.
Right.
You know who chose the king? The Lord did.
Right.
He chose Saul. He chose David.
Right.
He chose them. They didn't put crowns on themselves. But what America do? They put crowns on themselves. They put it to their sons. And then where it said wicked evils was multiplied in the earth. Right?
Right.
Now we're gonna see what them evils are talking about. Realize we in the Bible. Who does the Bible pertain to? Us. So when it's speaking about stuff like this, it must be something bad is going to happen to us. Bad things that we're going to have to go through. That's what you got to understand. How can the Bible be for everybody when it's only talking about one group of people?
That's right.
You know, if this was a book about for all nations, the book would have been goddamn this big.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's get verse 10.
Come on, verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root. Antiochus, surnamed
where's that? Epiphanes,
son of Antiochus, the king, who had been an hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Right. So now this is the beginning of what we're finna get into. You can understand this is the man that's going to be responsible for most of the Hellenization of the Jews, and we're going to learn how they did it and what our people did and how people responded to what they did. And you're going to see how it's kind of like the same thing that we were going on today, the same battle we were having. Right now, Antiochus, right, in Greek, his name meant what? God manifest. Realize they said they put crowns on their heads. There's one thing you got to understand about white people. They believe that themselves are God.
Right.
That's why in the Bible, Esau, the pride of thine heart had deceived thee. They think they could fight with God. Right. They always did. That's why God's chosen people has been the root and takes the downfall of everything evil they do, because that's who they fighting against. They are fighting against God. So if I'm going to fight against God, I got to kill his people. Right? For so long, people can't understand why we can't escape that. Is because this white man, he's Lucifer.
Right.
Right? That's the white man. The white man's Lucifer. He wants to fight with God. Right? Now, it says, also called Antiochus Epiphanes the Mad, born 215 BCE, died 164. Seleucid king of the Hellenistic Syrian kingdom, who reigned from 175 to 164 BCE. As a ruler, he was best known for his encouragement of Greek culture and institutions. His attempt to suppress Judaism brought on the wars of the Maccabees. Realizing that one thing you understand is the reason why we could find all this history, and it's good to we find out this history. Why? Because who do white men think the Jews are? White people. They think the Jews are the white people, so it's easy for them to bring out all this knowledge because they think they're talking about these people, when it's really about us. And that's why it said Judaism, but we all know what it's talking about. He want to suppress what? The Jews' culture, all laws, all culture, and that's what he's known for, because that's his whole mission. Now, why would it make a people like that's one thing about our people? Think about today, we stay out the way. We do what we do. I stay out the way, even if it is in bad things. Like we go into be the Christian church, we ain't messing with the white man or do different things to him like they do unto us. But yet, what they gotta do, pick on us, make sure we're doing what they want to do. It's the exact same thing that's going on right here. We're finna read, right? His attempts to suppress Judaism brought on the wars of the Maccabees. You know about the Maccabees, right? By Judas Maccabees, right? That's what when they had to fight. They fought to keep their laws, their statutes, right? Because they understood that it's not worth fearing the man who killed a body, but fearing the man who killed a body and soul. right?
That's right.
So that's what they did, and we're gonna read. We're gonna keep reading. I'm not gonna jump the gun, but let's get what we got. All right, it says Antiochus forestalled an Egyptian expedition to Palestine by invading Egypt, right? He defeated the Egyptians between Pelusium and Mount Casion, conquered Pelusium in 169, occupied Egypt with the exception of Alexandria, the capital, right? Ptolemy was Antiochus' nephew, right? Antiochus' sister, Cleopatra, had married Ptolemy. A lot of people do what? Think Cleopatra is who? Black. But she was white, right? Cleopatra was a white woman. And people don't, and it's funny because most people, they was it Kemet, right? They worship people like that, right? But you gotta understand, the white man went on a rampage. He went down there and took that land too. He took that land. That's how you became white people over there, right? Now, he said had married Ptolemy, and Antiochus contented himself with ruling Egypt as Ptolemy's guardian, giving Rome no excuse for intervention, right? So this is just showing what? This is showing that this is boom in the Apocrypha, right? Can I get First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 10? What you finna find out is that all we reading, it is backing up what the Bible's already saying, right? It's the same exact thing, right? First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 10.
Right. This is the book of First Maccabees chapter 1.
Wait, let me see. Yeah, you get that.
Then came out.
You got it?
I got you.
Okay.
And there came out of them a wicked root. Antiochus, surnamed and P.
We already read that, right? Let's jump down to 11.
Verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well.
That's it on that?
That's it on
that. On 11? So that's what's going to happen, right? So it said out of Israel went wicked men. Why are they being wicked? Because it made them join themselves into the heathen. A lot of people don't understand this. At a point, we had to be forced to serve their laws and their customs, but majority of the time, they use our own people to push it on us. Right? And that's why they have the Martin Luther Kings, the T.D. Jakes, the Creflo Dollars. Those are those wicked men that said, since we had much sorrow after we departed. Why? Because if T.D. Jakes stopped preaching, what's going to happen? He's going to have sorrows.
That's right.
If Creflo Dollar stopped doing what he did, he's going to have sorrows. Steve Harvey and all of them. All those people who made a covenant with the heathen, if they left what they're doing, they would stop. That's the whole parable about what Christ was talking about. Christ, I wish I could get that parable real quick. I'm gonna break it down real quick. Basically, the parable was that, it had I'm gonna get it later. What's the parable? The parable is about how the steward, he cut everybody's bill. Right. He was cutting everybody's bill, right? So the steward cut everybody's bill, right? And because why? He didn't want to stop and leave to get a real job. Right. Same thing like your pastors. Your pastors go out there, they didn't want to get a real job. Stop doing what the heathen giving them. So they do. They cut your bill. They give you what you think you owe to God. Right. Hey, how much you owe God? You need to repent. Right. Just give me 3 amazing graces. You good. Right. Give me this. Damn. See that Rolls Royce back there? You give me that Rolls Royce, buy that Rolls Royce for me, you can sin for the rest of your life. Damn. That's what they do, right? And that's what we're gonna find out how these wicked men did, right? So right now I got a page up. It's called Jerusalem of the Eve of Hellenistic Reform, right? This is page 117. I'm gonna read and somewhere in the middle, right? I start from the top. All right. Antiochus' victory over the Ptolemies in the year 200 to 198 brought the Jews under Seleucid rule. So we just read that he took over Egypt, right? So now we under whose rule? Antiochus, right? Under Seleucid rule, his rule, right? It's his kingdom. We have seen above that the political change was not associated with any cultural change among the Jews, and that the traditional mode of life of the people of Jerusalem lost nothing but the substitution of Syrian Antioch for Egyptian Alexandria as ruler of Judea. But in course of time, the situation altered. In the 17th of the 2nd century, there arose among the inhabitants of Jerusalem a new faction composed of Hellenizing Jews. So meaning that when it started happening, it was nothing for the Jews. Meaning it's like kind of like in America, when we see things happening and it doesn't affect to us because we just black in America. We don't think World War III is going to affect us. Right. Or what America decisions they make going to affect us. We just seen them deal with Iran and dealing with Russia and dealing with all this, and that's their business. So they seen them getting siege in Egypt and all that stuff and all this new leaders, and they're like, hey, we can still do our laws. It's kind of like, I think back in the Exodus. Was it Exodus? No, it was in the beginning of Exodus, right? When Joseph was in Egypt. He was good with the Pharaoh, but the Pharaoh died and passed, and the people didn't think they was going to have no issues. They didn't think no issues when that Pharaoh and that king was there.
Right.
Until after he died, and he made him work with rigor. Right, so these people, we was doing their own thing. Now nowhere, boom, this man want to come out with what? Hellenizing us, right? We'll see how it happens. All right, say opposed of Hellenizing Jews, which for several years held power in Judea and became noted for his strong adherence to Hellenism, and for his unconcealed contempt for Jewish tradition. Meaning, when you see Jewish and Judaism, you understand this is written the viewpoint of thinking that these white people today are the real Jews. That's why in their ignorance, they write it like this, right? But, all right, in Jewish tradition, the Hellenizers converted Jerusalem into a Greek town, introduced Greek customs into Jewish life, built a gymnasium, and did not even oppose the spread of Greek gods in Judea. This group found its shield and patron in the Syrian king Antiochus. Remember, we talk about Antiochus. This was his motive, his whole plan, to just wreak havoc on these people. I'm gonna make sure they're gonna follow me. Who's that guy you think you is? I don't know that guy. I'm God. That's what his name was, meant what? Manifest God, right? Okay, Antiochus, who intervened in the internal affairs of the land of Judea and threw the weight of his sword onto the scales of the party struggle. With his aid, the Hellenizers were for a time in control of Jerusalem until another sword, the sword of Judah the Maccabee, put an end to their aspirations and restored the old form of national life. Right? So meaning what? This was going on for a long time into the Maccabees, until we had the restored ways of Judah Maccabees fought for they did it. They call them, you can search it, they call it the Jewish revolt. Right? So this man made it his whole MO to do what? Wreak havoc on these people.
Right.
They call them, Hellenizers. What that sound like? Colonizers.
Yeah.
Right.
Exact same thing. That's what he did, man. Right? And realize what it said. These people, it's kind of like when we never thought, because we was doing our own thing. We were just serving God. It's like when the Europeans came over here, right? And they said, and what Christopher Columbus said, this ain't no better nation, a more peaceful nation than these people right here. Let's enslave them. Let's mess with them. Let's kill them. That's the exact same thing here. We was over there just trying to keep our laws of God, just dwelling in Jerusalem, right? And what happened? Oh, we finna Hellenize them. We're gonna see the crazy things. Meanwhile, think about our culture. Like, think about how we are today, right? Think about this. We far away from what we used to be, right? Now let's see how we got there, right? All right. Let's see what we want. Okay, I'm gonna start at the top. It says the Hellenistic civilization and the Jews, page 118, right? It says, be forgotten that he had not begun the business, but had merely come to Judea when he found the way prepared for him by the Jews themselves. Hellenism was not introduced into Israel by the forces outside. What does that mean? So if it was formed on the inside, was it formed by us? Right? It says, Part of the Jewish public itself developed an attachment to alien customs and became eager for the Hellenistic modes of life to obtain a foothold in Jerusalem. Can you read that scripture again, sir, if you get a chance? I think it's 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11.
The book of 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men,
right,
who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen,
right,
that are round about us.
Right. So right there, he said men came out and said, let's make a covenant with the heathen. And what the scripture just, not the scripture, what does the book just say? That this started within. These were hey man, we need to go make a covenant with the heathen, man. They got these new cool, they got all these different things we could go do, man. Right? You ever watch that movies about the Greeks? Like that's the whole MO of their whole scene. Like that's what they wanted. Like if you watch this movie, I think it's called like Ben-Hur or something like that. It's Ben-Hur. It's like with his, it's like this dude. He was friends with his Greek friend, right? They grew up as brothers Greek, and the one's supposed to be a Jew, right? Of course, the depiction is wrong. The boy is white, right?
Right.
So they grew up right there, and the Jew was fighting in this Greek. They used to have the what was it when they used to fight on horses, the chariots, right? They used to have those things, right? And so the people saw on the roof of the Jew, right? Meanwhile, they didn't like the Jew. The Jew went into slavery. Right. In the movie, he went into slavery. So when he got back, he was fighting, and he ended up beating their Greek general or something, right? He ended up beating him. I think it was like his friend he grew up with, right? Cut his legs off or something like that, right? And the movie, the Greeks are mad, like the hierarchy Greeks, right? They're like, why you what's going on? Why you not angry? Because of the hierarchy, dude's in charge. He said, I ain't angry because now they all became one. They all became Greeks now. We all are one people now. Because they got the Jews over there, yeah. And the Greeks, yeah. And they all looking at it and looking for the entertainment. That's why they had they said they built gymnasiums. And that's like today, like think about football. Think about basketball. That's one thing when you do football and basketball, that's one easy way to unite heathens and the chosen children of God together. Right. Because we believe there's no racism in that.
Right.
We believe like you realize who they call okay, when you're on a daily street with somebody, we understand I'm a black man, you're a white man, we're not brothers.
Right.
But if I join a football team and there's a white boy and a black boy, who are they? Right. Brothers. Right. But if it's a black boy and white boy in the basketball team, who are they? Brothers. Then in the military, what the military people say? Brothers. Right. So that's how you make people one people.
Right. So what was that movie with Denzel Washington? The football movie?
Friday Night Lights? It's I know what you're talking about.
And that's a perfect example. Racism in the town.
Right.
Denzel Washington became the head coach of the team.
Right.
And it was a great divide until when they started winning the game.
That's it.
They was brothers and one nation again. One nation. Just like
Where you found the movie?
No, I just never.
Everybody know that movie though. With Denzel Washington in the football. Yep. Everybody know that. Remember the Titans. So that's what it was.
Damn.
They all became one people. Why? They started winning.
Right.
Oh, these Negroes probably good for something then.
Right.
So we don't, because that's what they say. Like football races back different groups. Anything you put yourself into, they want you to become a family in that thing. Right. Same thing with Hollywood. Right? You're gonna see all this is from the Greeks. These entertainment, this is all from them. They put you in that situation to make you forget that you were a black man and black woman, Hispanic man, Hispanic woman. Damn. Now you just one group of people fighting for one cause. Right? And all people, they do it so much. They like, even if you watch what's that, The Gladiator?
Right.
You realize the Gladiator, the dude who had the most power.
Oh man.
It was the man who was fighting. He was becoming to a point. I think he fought at the end, the king? Caesar, right? They start embracing the gladiator, the fighter, more than the system, the people controlling things.
Right.
So think about how that is today. Who do they embrace? They embrace all your ball players, all your rappers, all your entertainers. Those are the people that seem that got the power. Those are the people, and those are the people why. Right. Those are the same people. Those are the wicked men. They went out there and pursued everybody, telling them take away the heathen because they had the power. Go ahead, sir.
So like what you're saying is so heavy because that's the people that have the most influence.
Right.
Like they'll use them to persuade you to go vote, go
Right.
Sleep with a white woman or do whatever they want. Push what's the brother? Snoop Dogg, he had you got you smoking weed, pushing chronic, right? What's the other brother? I mean, it's so many. They use these celebrities,
right,
black and Hispanic, to push whatever wicked agenda, you understand, that they got going, man.
Right. And even what Austin Naquan said, we're gonna read how, and like you would say, those brothers and those sisters are the rich of Israel.
Right.
Those are the rich of us, and that's in the. We're gonna read into it. We'll get into it. The name's already 35 minutes. Good night. Let's get let me keep reading this page. Let's see where I start off at. Hellenization arose among the Jews as a result of the internal development of Jewish history. It develops upon to investigate the factors which led part of the Jewish community to Hellenization. We have to ask, first of all, what was the motive of those who inclined in this direction? The obvious and simple answer is that their aim was to spread of Greek culture, and that for them Hellenization was based on their consciousness of the advantages of Hellenism over Judaism. Damn. So what is it saying? They reason why they wanted to push their culture on everybody.
Right.
And they said that they had to push this on who? The Jews. They had to. Why? We all know why. Because if you don't, if you don't push your culture on us, you still not going to reap the benefits of what it's going to do, because God's chosen people are going to keep their laws. Go ahead. Right. Damn right. Give this a hand. Yeah. So what the sister said is, the sister brought out an excellent point that at the time of the Muslims, you had Muhammad. He went out there and made a false religion. Well, I could say he made a religion because the religions are false to begin with. So he made a religion, right? And what he did was take the beliefs of the Jews, right, except for pagan Christians, and combine it together, right? Then he forced to uplift his people. He made this religion to uplift his people. So when he made that religion to uplift his people, right? When he made that religion to uplift his people, that wasn't enough, because the Lord's chosen people still had their laws and statutes and commandments, right?
Right.
So he said, well, I got to make them worship the thing I made. I have to make them do that. And that's why this Hellenization was mainly to who? The Jews. Because I got to force them. To serve my culture. I don't have to worry about no Chinese man. He ain't no threat to me. He gonna follow my culture regardless. I don't care what he's doing. But these people got to serve what I got going. Because if they serve what I got going, they can't serve their God. Most people think contrary. The scripture said you can't serve two masters. But who all people think they can? That's why all people think they could serve God and be in Greek fraternities.
Right.
They think you could serve God and look at zodiac signs and horoscopes. You could serve God and do voodoo. See, all people think always that they serving God. They think they serve God while they serve everything else, though. Right. That's why they say, "What I'm spiritual."
Man.
I'm spiritual. What's your spiritual beliefs are? Yeah, I believe my zodiac signs, and I believe I could kill my child in my womb if I want to. That's what it is. Man. Right? And it's important and that's why they had to make these people be what? See, think about this as a nation. If you're not serving God, then what are you doing? The scriptures say the laws, statutes, commandments will be our wisdom amongst the nations. You take that away, you take away our breath of life. You take away our wisdom. Now you have women out there who think it's okay for her to abort her children. Right. Women who think it's okay to go look at their zodiac signs. Right? Now you can't fight for nothing because you have nothing to stand on. You have no foundation. Right. So let's go. Let's keep reading. Matter of fact, I keep saying this. Let me see if I got. Let me finish reading this real quick. Then I'm gonna pull the scripture up. There's a lot of information in here. Just realize after we're reading all this, pay attention to what we are saying than what the scriptures are saying. The scriptures give a general context of just what's going on, but this record is giving like damn near. It's like it's quoting the scriptures, right? The scripture said it had wicked men out there who made a covenant with the heathen. Then this book that said what? This Hellenization happened from within first, right? Now, it says, Culture, sympathies, and antipathy, Shalakia, have, however, a certain social basis. It is a fact that the bearers of the idea of Hellenization among the Jews were not distributed among various classes of Jewish society, but were entirely confined to one class, namely the ruling aristocracy, right? So who is that? Aristocracy. Who's that? Right, the government, the ruling class of Israel. So who pushes on the people? The higher ups, the ruling class, the people with money, the people with power, the TD Jakes, the Creflo Dollars, the Martin Luther Kings, the anybody with power, anybody who's rich,
Right.
the rappers, the ball players, the entertainers. Realize how the rappers go out there and rap about the crimes and killings of their own people, but when something happens, they gotta go in there and push, hey, vote for Joe Biden.
Right.
That's how the hell they had, they had Lil Baby going there and pushing to go vote for Joe Biden, Kamala Harris.
Right.
Y'all see, we forget too quick about stuff. We don't hold people accountable enough. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
We had I had that boy had Lil Baby, he had when they had that, I think it was with George Floyd or something, he had made a song out. He said, I know I'm rapping about killing and violence, but I'm telling my people go vote. Like, and we just bobbing our head like, man, that's hardcore. Like,
right.
Like, you see how he's telling us, see how what he's doing? What did he tell us to do? Go vote.
Right.
Then Lil Baby said, I gotta go say it. I gotta go do it. Lil Baby done said it. Dude, just imagine whatever LeBron James say, people gonna do it.
That's right.
LeBron James said go vote, we going to vote.
Right.
Right? That's what he's gonna do. Why? Because you believe everything that comes out their mouth is what? Is truth. Because why?
Right.
You want their lifestyle.
Right.
You think they got what they got by telling you what to do. Right. If TD Jakes tell you something to do, well, damn, why you think people don't go to poor churches? Mm-hmm. Why do you think people don't go to poor churches? They go to the church where the pastor has a good, clean pair of alligator shoes on. Right. He pull up in a BMW. Right? Why? Because if I want to be like him, I'm gonna go to his church. He's gonna tell me what to do to be like him. So LeBron James, he must be rich because he voted. Right. The Lord must be blessing LeBron James because he voted. That's how we think as a people. Right. We don't think that the wicked people are rich. We think the worst people in the earth are the poor people. That's how we are. And Christ says, I wish I could have that scripture up. We don't judge. That's what it is about. The Lord says he has no respect of persons. It's because it don't matter if you're rich or poor. And that's what Christ came for the poor. That's why I say, the meek, it said the meek shall inherit the earth. You know what the meek is? Meek is the powerless. Right. People with no power. And the Pharisees and the Sadducees at the time had the power. Mm-hmm. Right? They had the power to go and do things. That's why the scripture says, many are called, but few are chosen. Because the Lord called, he gave those pastors a chance. They was the first ones to be called. The Pharisees and Sadducees, but they wasn't chosen. Now look who the Lord chose. Look who Christ came and chose. The people who's actually going to do the will of God. Right? Now, I give two off topic. Where else at? What else talk about? Right. I think that's what I wanted there. Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna get on that. All right, so let's get First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11.
Right.
In those days.
Let's get 12. So I think we just read that. We can read it again for the people online.
All right. Verse 11. Mm-hmm. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Right. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward hearing that they went to tell that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
What does that mean?
Mhm.
It says, let me give you a hint. It says the certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king. So who are these people who went to the king? The people who wanted to make a covenant with the heathen, right? Who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen, right? So these people they got a license to go out there and do what? They got the okay to go out there and promote this,
right?
Do what they got to do to go and push this, right? That's what it was, and that's like what today?
Right.
Your cops.
That's right.
Your cops, they go out there and make a covenant with the heathen. They love America so much, they go join their system and think they could help their people out.
Right.
Why? Why these people? Why? Think about this. Why do these people go and want us to be like the heathen? They don't think they're wicked. Remember this. They don't think they're wicked. The scripture's calling them wicked. Why? From our standpoint, opposed to serve God. Right. But these people go out there. T.D. Jakes don't think he's a wicked man. Right. LeBron James and them don't think they're wicked men for doing what they do. So why they want to go push this on us? Remember what the read that verse 11 said. I'm gonna just paraphrase it, right? It says, "For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow." Right. So they pushing it. Why? They think it's better for them to do what the heathen doing. Right. That's why they are doing it. So they want to like, man, y'all got to do right. So again, why do black men join the police force? Right. They think it's better for our people to do that. Right. They think they think when they do that, it's benefiting our people. And that's why our people do that. And when we tell them they're wrong, they look at us like we the bad ones, right?
It's like just real quick, and that just goes to show, like, some fake Israelite groups believe that you can get into the police force. And
good night.
You can be a police officer in our oppressor's police force or military, and think that you still, you ain't wicked. They don't think that they're evil, or they're not against God. You know what I'm saying? Or against their own people, when they absolutely are. That just shows that they are not in the truth, man. So like,
damn right, sir. If I could even touch on that, it's like there's certain jobs out there that make you do things contrary to God, and the easier thing is to leave the job, get a new job, right? And like it's like this, like people think like, oh yeah, it's just, but you need a, what they gonna say? What cowards say? You need to feed your family. Man, don't work, don't eat. Right. When the Lord said he feed the birds. That's right. The birds don't worry about what they got to stay there that night. What their next food gonna come, the next meal gonna come. But we, being God's chosen people, being the people that He knows how many hairs you got on your head, we worry about that. Right. You supposed to be high in faith. You can't even leave the police force. How the hell, like that's like you can't go around, and that's like being in the military. You can't go around and say the white man's the devil and be in the police force, right? Or be in the army. That's like a conflict of interest. You know what I mean? Right. Like, why you as a soldier, like, why would I even want you next to me? We gotta go to battle. You think I'm the devil, but you in there because you don't think I'm the devil, right? You think I'm your brother in arms. That's what it is, right? Right. And a lot of people don't understand in the scriptures. One thing that makes us about the truth is that we understand the Bible in its entirety, that everything that's written doesn't mean that it was right. Right. Meaning people will say, well, Judah had a whore, right? I don't want to be too off topic, but that does not make it right. The reason why the scriptures are written down is to show you the good and the bad. That's right. Like what happened with David. We supposed to say we could start committing adultery now? We could start sleeping on people's wives now? David did it. Oh, Abraham, he had said that this was his sister. I remember General Muhammad said that was a coward thing to do. Right. But you would have said, no, I see you supposed to, it's captivity. You got to do what you got to do. You men out there willing to let somebody have sex with your wife just to get by. And you call that wisdom. Man. Come on. You, again, wicked people, man, went out and made a covenant with the heathen. That's right. And when you become uncircumcised and the law, statute, commandments, you don't have no more, you have no more wisdom. That's right. And that's why you say things like that, right? All right, so I don't get too much off topic. Where we at?
We're at verse 14. I'm sorry, 13.
13? Yep. Oh, let's go to 14.
Verse 14. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief.
All right, so like this is what you gotta understand, man. It said they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem. So the gymnasium, right? One thing you gotta understand about the time of the gymnasium, the Greeks, you know how you have, what is it called? They every 4 years, what is it called? The Olympics, right? Like all that go back into the Greeks, but the reason why it was like it's so sinful and nasty that these people was going around here in these gymnasiums naked. And there's a reason why today, like you even have certain, like every sport you do is just the nakedness is showing. Right. That's what, like, especially like if you go in the gyms today, like damn shit, you can't you can't even bring your children to the gym. Right. You can't even bring your children to the gym, all the nakedness in there. Right. Right. That's what the Greeks did. And our people did what? Dang, that do look fun. That do look fun. I need to go ahead and do that. Same, that's all we did. And we forsook God's laws and joined ourselves into them, thinking what? Right. That good night, man. What do when a basketball player plays, you know, and he's so-called religious, they use the laws, they use the scriptures and laws of God and make it seem as though that pertains to their basketball. Man. Make it pertain to their football. They go write scriptures on their shoes. They'll take a beautiful scripture and write on their shoes like God is dealing with you in your basketball game. Like I remember somebody, what was that scripture? It was like faith without works is dead. They're like, yeah, you got to put that work in. You got to go out. You got to train. We became like, we started using the Bible as like a playbook, like as a joke now. Everybody use the Bible for whatever they do. You could damn near be a porn store and use scriptures. That's what America did with our holy book. Right, that's right. You go, porn stars probably got nothing but tattoos. Then you get tattoos on you. You see how many people of us got tattoos of the scriptures? When the scriptures say don't get tattoos? Right. All right. Let's get where we at? Let me read this what it says right here. Remember the gymnasium, right? Antiochus' Hellenizing policies brought him into conflict with the prosperous non-Greek temple organizations, and particularly with the Jews. Meaning non-Greek, mean temple organizations, they talking about our temple. And bringing conflict, like, bro, what you expect? We're not going to do this. Like, this is all laws. This is all, we ain't hurting nobody. You trying to push this on us for what? Right? And he says, since Antiochus' reign, the Jews had enjoyed extensive autonomy under their high priest. They were divided into two parties, the Orthodox Hasidians and a Reform party that favored Hellenism. So what that mean? Yeah, some people who wanted to be like the heathen and some people who was not going for it. Right? It's funny because like you got to go like who like today. It's like saying you know they try to separate. They always separate into two, give different people groups. You know what I mean? Now you forget who you really are. You forget that you were Jew in the first place. Now you're like, nah, I'm with this group right here, man. You know what I mean? I believe that we need you know is what they say. What Christians say? You know that was back then. It's a different time. Right. It's a different time, man. We got to join. We got God want to be one people, man. Right now. For financial reasons, Antiochus supported the Reform Party, and in return for considerable sum, permitted the high priest Jason to build a gymnasium in Jerusalem and to introduce Greek mode of educating young people. Educating young people. Let me tell you something. They used the elders, the high priest, and they used him to build the gymnasium to educate the young people. Right. So what is that today? That is what we just been talking about all class. Mm-hmm. Taking our people we look up high to and making them teach your agenda. Right. And that way, like, well, the white man never gave you Christianity. Our pastors did. Why? Because he is the white man's representative. Right. He, like, one thing we gotta understand, the fact that black people gotta understand, you don't go to no dang church where the pastor's white. That's right. You're not going. You going to that black pastor. And when you go to him, he's going to give you your white Jesus. He's going to give you your crab legs. He's going to give you all the things you need to do what? Sin against your God, because where did he get it from? The oppressor, right? And that's what Antiochus did. Hey, you do this and go teach them this, and they're going to listen to you. And they listen to you, you go do this, you're going to keep your job. I'll make sure you're going to be paid well. Man. Right? Yep. Now, it says in 172 for even bigger tribute, he appointed Menelaus in place of Jason. In 169, however, while Antiochus was campaigning in Egypt, Jason conquered Jerusalem, with the exception of the citadel, and murdered many adherents of his rivals. When Antiochus returned from Egypt in 167, he took Jerusalem by storm and enforced its Hellenization. The city forfeited its privileges and was permanently garrisoned by Syrian soldiers. So it said now he enforced its Hellenization, meaning what? Now I gave y'all a chance by peace. Why am I called? It's by peace. I mean, I told you you didn't have to do it, but now I'm gonna make y'all do it, right? That's what the whole thing. They push that onto us. They push it to us, and if it don't work like that, now it's by force, right? Like we read in the one class that we did with the Native Americans, right? We was talking about how they kept the laws of God, and these white people were studying them. And when they were studying them, they knew the Native Americans didn't want to eat swine. They said it was forbidden, it was an abomination, but they brung it around them. They kept pushing their agenda on them, pushing that on them until what? They wasn't going for it. Then what happened when the Native Americans wasn't butting for it? They started to slaughter them.
That's right.
They started to kill them. That's why the scripture said there ain't nothing new under the sun, because we're going to read that it happened the exact same thing. You try to push it on us. You try to use our leaders to do it, and we still wasn't going.
Right.
Now they're going to push it on us by force. Let's get where we at? Let's get Salakia. 15. Where we at?
We just read 14. Sorry, we just read 15.
Let's get 16.
Come on. Verse 16. Now when the kingdom.
Well, no, let's get let's drop down. Let's drop down to 21.
Con, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 21.
And start at 20. So like
That's right. Verse 20. And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light, and all of the vessels thereof.
What was the candlestick? Right. So he's doing what? And enter proudly into the sanctuary. What does that mean? Like he going in like I don't care. I'm taking everything down.
Right.
That's his demeanor. That's the white man's motive. Like I'm coming out here.
Right.
I'm taking the things y'all have on high. I'm finna destroy it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like most people be like, man, I'm sorry, I gotta do this, man. He coming in like, where's that? What? Give me that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Keep going, sir.
Come on, verse 22. And the table of the shewbread,
right,
and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold,
right,
and the vials.
Okay, so you can drop down to 24. So what he's talking about is that he went and basically destroyed everything that we had in our temple, our holy place. He went up in there and did what? Destroyed everything.
Right.
Right? Damn, they're like, this ain't our holy temple, but damn, the people who's out there in the Christian church, that was supposed to be doing their service, and Dylan Roof walked in and did what they would. Start shooting them up.
Man.
It's the exact same thing that happened right here. And even like with Christ said they had sinners who had blood had got spilled in the temple. The Romans came and killed them in their own temple, right? And that's like, well, how they died? They were sinners, and Christ said, what? Don't worry about how they died. Don't worry about why they died. Just make sure that you ain't sinning against God.
Right.
Because they was going there walking in the temple killing the Jews too.
Right.
It's happened the exact same day today. You go over there in your church and then boom, getting murdered. Right? All right. Go ahead, sir. Where we at? 20.
Verse
24.
Verse 24.
Mm-hmm.
And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. Therefore, there was great mourning in Israel,
right, in
every place where they were, so that the princes and elders mourned. The virgins and young men were made feeble, and and the beauty of women was changed.
Dang. So look, this is the crazy thing, man. Like he went out there. Meanwhile, we didn't want to accept that culture, so we had to go get murdered for it. Then we go murder. It was great mourning in Israel. Why? Because you was getting murdered for just being who you were. What did they teach us the Holocaust is about? Hitler killing these Jews for what? For being Jews. This is the real Holocaust. See, this is happening. This happened to us more than once. Right. We coming up here. It's like they damn took out our book. This damn playbook right here. They damn took it out. They said, yeah, we're gonna take this story right here. We're gonna take this first Maccabee story and we're gonna do it right here. But this happened to us. We was the ones being taken out, massacred for being what? Being Jews. Right. And this white man is damn devil, man. I remember in school they used to teach us that. Oh yeah, they used to come in. The Jewish people had to hide, and they used to have they call it the star, right? We know it's a shield of David, but they had the star on there, right? And when they see the star, they would know that it was Jewish.
Right. So
I always thought to myself, well, damn, why wouldn't you just hide the star?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But it shows you like these people is like it start making it don't make sense because now you start reading how like they come and killed us. Why? How you know who was Jews back then? Huh? Right.
That's right.
We was black. We don't need no damn. Let me tuck my dog out. They come and try to kill niggas around here. No, you can't hide that. You walk over the street like, damn. Just like today, the police do what? They pull you over, stop you.
Right.
Ain't because you got no dawada on.
Right.
Ain't because not because your beliefs. Ain't because you in the government. That doesn't stop you. Right. At the end of the day, you getting pulled over because you a Jew.
That's right.
You don't believe me? Africans are the same color as us.
Right.
You don't hear no Africans getting pulled over.
Right.
No Matumbe is getting pulled over.
Nope.
No Abatamute is getting pulled over. Trayvon Martin is getting killed. The Sandra Blands.
Right.
Philando Castile. Those are the black Hispanics, and we the ones getting killed.
Right.
Right. Ain't happened to them. Why? Because you can't hide your star like they did.
Right.
You go ahead, sis.
And you know how people think because we join the police or the army
right.
or whatever that we'll be safe when they
right.
pull us over. But you remember that story about the brother he got pulled over and he might have been in uniform or something, and he got thrown to the ground, and everyone was outraged because they thought because he had that uniform on he would be fine.
Right. Right. And right, because I think he was in the military, right? That's one thing we gotta understand as a people. It's like, we have white people who come up, right, and be like, I agree with y'all. I separate from my people, my race. They want to apologize for slavery and whatnot, right?
Right.
But when he's having a conversation between us and him, right? He's saying, I separate. I don't want to be with my people. But when he goes back home, his people still look at him as their people. He can't take away his white supremacy. Same thing with you. Meaning what? You can't join with the heathen and take them and stop them from killing you. When you getting pulled over, it don't matter what you could have a goddamn Trump hat on. They're going to murder you. They're going to try to kill you. And all people became fools thinking that what? If we did join with the heathen, we would stop dying. Right. But look at us now, still dying. And that's why these people said they had much sorrow when they left. You had more sorrow when you joined with them. Because at least back then we had something, had a culture, had God to try to fight for us. And we would listen to him. Now we just out here being in the military. That's what the sister brought out. It shows that why you shouldn't be in the military in the first place. Right. You're supposed to be in the military to get protection, to be looked at differently. Mm-hmm. Y'all men go in the military like it's an honor just to get pulled over. Right. And the man was of high rank too. Right. It's crazy, man. You come up in here and become a captain and get treated way different. Right. You get a captain in the army, you're still gonna get shot down. Right. Pulled over. That's sad, man. Let's get where we at?
We at 20, 25. No, 26.
26?
Yep.
Oh, and it says the beauty of woman was changed?
Right.
How was the beauty of woman changed? Yeah, same thing today. Y'all think about the exact same thing today. The Greeks, what? How white women go around doing what? How are women doing? Our women want to be light. We want to be so much light skin, want to have white skin, while the white women want to have what skin? Black skin.
Right. Damn.
We go around dyeing our hair blind while the white women want what? All hair, all texture, all y'all box braids. Y'all become like the Greeks. You want to become like the Greeks, and the Greeks want to be like y'all.
Right.
They want to be like the Jews, right? So, because if I make them worship, like it's like this. If I make them worship my culture more than they do their own, then I can boom, sweep in and take theirs. That's what happened. We worship their culture more than our own, and boom, they took ours.
Right.
Right? Now, let's get 29.
Verse 29. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah.
Oh, wait, go to 27.
Verse 20. Okay, verse 27. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 27. Every bridegroom took up lamentations, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness.
Right.
The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion.
Right. So what? Our wives being raped, right. Men taken and killed. All this stuff was happening. The land was with great confusion, man. Like this right there. Just imagine being in the start of this.
Right.
Just imagine seeing people getting taken out their house just for being who they was.
Right.
That's it. This was going on. This was being, because one thing, what did they understand? Being a Jew was what? Was it a religion? It was an ethnicity.
Right.
It was who you was. So how is this different than what was going on today? And when this happens, they still will try to do what? Separate like the heathen, become like the heathen. That's what America told us to do. Take their ways, take their customs, and we did. We were getting killed because we trying to be like, they wanted to be like the Greeks, right? And we did that. Then we still being killed.
Right. We
were still being killed. Ain't that help? Right? Let's get let me read this real quick. Right? Salagia. It reads, it says, the history of religious persecution could be said to have begun in 167 BC when the Seleucid king Antiochus issued a series of decrees outlawing Jewish religious practice, meaning what? He outlawed that we can't keep our laws, statutes, and commandments, right? It says, according to First Maccabees, what we reading? First Maccabees, meaning what? Every scholar, every historian look at the Bible to prove the things they done found.
Right.
We the only people, the book belong to, look at the Bible as a fantasy. It's like it's not real. But the Bible is the most, what's that word? The Bible is the most accurate book out there.
That's right.
With history. That's right. That's what it is. And everybody understand that, right? That's why it's everywhere. The most sold book, right?
Right.
Now, it says, anyone found with a copy of the Torah or adhering to its laws, observing the Sabbath, for instance, or practicing circumcision, was put to death. Jews were compelled to build altars and shrines to idols and to sacrifice pigs and other unclean animals. The temple itself was desecrated by a desolating abomination built on top of the altar to burnt offering. The alternative account of in Second Maccabees adds to the list of outrages. So it's talking about the Maccabees, right? The outrages. So we was outraged, of course, right? Now it says the temple was renamed for Olympian Zeus. So not only did they make us do all these different things, right? They took our temple and named it Zeus. After that, that's what they did. You gotta understand what these people are doing, though. This is a people culture. When other people in the world who gets this type of treatment for doing what they like to do? Nobody's going over there and stopping the Arabs for doing what they do. Nobody's stopping the Chinese for doing what they do. Nobody's stopping the East Indians. But here we are going out and doing all this, and you make us sacrifice pig. Can you imagine that, though? Like, think about that. Like, not only do you make us stop doing our laws, stop getting the circumcision, stop doing our Sabbath day, which what was the Sabbath day? A day of rest. So you make us work, make us do all this stuff, right? And then what? You make us eat pig.
Right. You
make us not just leave your cultures alone, but I'm going to make sure that you sin against your God. Right?
Right.
Now, you don't believe me? That these people, when people say, well, they just want you to be like the Greeks. Meanwhile, why is this only being pushed on the Jews? Because they understand something. Let me get that scripture in 2 Maccabees.
Come on.
I think it's 2 Maccabees. I will get it real quick. It is Psalms, 2 Maccabees chapter 7, verse 31.
Come on. This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 31.
Mm-hmm.
And thou that hast been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews shalt not escape the hands of God.
Oh, Salakia. It's not that one. I know what I want. I want the one in Judith. Judith, chapter 5, verse 20. We gotta understand that these people understand that if they make us sin, then what's going to happen? God is not going to be with us, right? Verse 20.
This is the book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 20. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
So what? If they sin against their God,
we shall overcome them.
That's it. So that's why they are literally killing people for doing what? To sin against their God.
That's right.
But we got to be willing to do what? See, that's the you see every talk about Christian, they start getting cornered real quick when they go through struggles. They start getting cornered real quick. Those are the ones who want to be like the heathen because they don't have the spirit of the Lord. Give me the 2 Maccabees. What was it? 7:31.
2 Maccabees 7:31. Come on.
I don't need that one.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Go ahead, sir.
This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 31. And thou that hast been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews,
right,
shall not escape the hands of God. For we suffer because of our sins.
Right.
And though the living God be angry with us a little while for our chastening and correction, yet shall he be at one again with his servants. But thou, O godless man, and of all other most wicked, be not lifted up without a cause, nor puffed up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thine hand against the servants of God. For thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of Almighty God, who seeth all things.
That's it on that. I think, yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted the 37. Nah, that's not it. I was looking at I could get the one in Luke though. The one in Luke said the one in Luke for the man who killed a body. I get it. I think it's Luke chapter 16. No. I'll get it real quick. Salakia. But one thing you gotta understand about this is that it's like when you it's really hard. You know why it's hard to get out of captivity? It's because when you go around and sin against your God, it makes you get in captivity in the first place, right? Now, when you get out of captivity in the first place, now these people are pushing the more and more and more sins on you. Because right now in Israel, right? That's why the spirit of Christ is like a woman in labor pains. It's very hard. It's very hard for her to produce that child because now we got to get our people out this hellish condition. We got to get our people out of this hellish condition. Why? Because not only did we start off sinning with God, now they promoting the sin towards us. Right? Now you have the homosexuality being pushed. Now we got to get our people out of homosexuality. Now we got to get our women out of Planned Parenthood. Now we got to get our people out of drugs. We got to get our women out off the poles. We got to get our men stop being whoremongers and women stop being whores. And it's all so much things we got to do because Who pushed it on us? Who forced us to do those things? You know how you force somebody to do those things? You force people to become drug dealers when they come home from fighting your wars and you deny them their loans.
Right.
You deny them their loans and you take the factories away from them in their neighborhoods.
That's right.
And you go give it to the people in the Middle East. Now they can't feed their family, but then at the same time you throw crack in their streets. That's how you force somebody to do those things.
Right.
Like, we only had bad decisions to make. We only had less of the two evils America gave us to do.
That's right.
Now, why is America doing what they did? The Greeks was in power. Why they was doing what they was doing? Because they was wicked. They were estranged from the womb. Now, Salakia. Let me get this. You got that scripture?
Yeah, come on. This is the book.
We could just get first. Let's get back to First Maccabees real quick. Let's just finish this off. Yeah, you get Luke 12.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 5.
First Maccabees, chapter 1 and 29.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 12, verse 9.
First Maccabees 12 and 9. That's what First Maccabees 1 and 29. Salakia. I was thinking about something else.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1.
Chapter 1, verse 29.
Chapter 1, verse 29.
Salakia.
Verse 29. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collectors of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city, and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel.
So what did he do? He came and speak peace to them. But what happened? It was all deceit.
Right.
And so, because for when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore. So it's like, think about the day. It's like when we go vote for the president, he comes speak sweetly with his lips. I'm gonna do this for black people, do this for black people. Then what happens? Come and destroy us.
Right.
Barack Obama, I'm gonna come do this for y'all. I'm gonna come do this for y'all. Boom, push homosexuality.
Yep.
That's what they did. Now you give me Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 16.
Come on.
We're gonna see this is who the white man is. We say there's nothing new in the sun. Like, this is back in the Greeks. And he's doing the exact same thing today. Why? Because this is just the Greco-Roman Empire that we're in. That's what America is. Right? Now, go ahead, sir.
Come on, this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood.
Right. So that's what he did, man. And that's why the scriptures call him the dragon, but he was that old serpent.
Right.
The old serpent, it was slick. It's like we say, you a snake. A lot of people don't understand the white man because they do not understand that he doesn't do things out in your face.
Right.
Which is why the only reason why white people hated Donald Trump. White people hated Donald Trump because Donald Trump was giving all the secrets out.
Right.
He was showing how much racist America really is to black folk. Because black folk really don't know until you tell them out in their face. You tell them a good word, they don't see it. Right. So Donald Trump, that's why black folk think the worst president that ever lived was Donald Trump.
Right.
When George Washington had slaves.
Right.
They think that. Why? Because he was out with it. They needed Joe Biden. They need Sleepy Joe in office. Right. They needed Sleepy Joe to say, you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Just stay out the way. Do your racism undercover. Do your kill black people undercover. Just don't say you killing black people. Just do it. Right. You know what I mean? And that's what they love to do. Now, we're going to finish this up a little bit to show you about First Maccabees, the things they did. We already read the books, the swine, they forced us, raped a woman, killed a woman. They did all this different stuff. And that's how all people became what? Hellenized. And that's why Christ said what? Neither Jew nor what? Because why? We was Greeks.
That's right.
We was Hellenized Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We became like the heathen. Right? So let's just finish this down. First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 30. 31.
Chapter 1, verse 30.
Chapter 1, verse 31.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 31. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire and poured down the houses and walls thereof on every side.
Right.
But the women and children took they captive and possessed the cattle. Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with mighty towers.
Can you jump down to verse 41, Salagi, sir?
This one. Verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem, and the cities of siegers unto Jerusalem. Oh, I'm sorry. By letters, but let me read that again. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land. And
what was that?
That was 44.
44. Keep going, sir. If you could. I think we're gonna stop at 50. Most of this whole chapter is just talking about what they did. Okay. You can read down to 50 if you could, sir. Then we're gonna jump down to verse 60 to 61 just to show how far they went with their crimes.
Come on. Verse 45. And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
Right. So it's going on to saying how they was doing. Like they got to leave all this stuff. They basically just taking away all the whole culture. All things you live in, the whole thing you're reading is how they take away our culture. Right? A lot of people think the laws of God is just what we have to do. The laws of God is our culture. That's what makes us a people. Right? Keep going, sir.
Verse 47. Set upon altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh.
There you go. Then we just read that.
Right.
No, in the book, it said that, right? Keep going. So what you seeing that this is just what? This is recorded history. Right? Now this is the book. They did what? These are the books they took out. Right? They took it out. And that's why you're so confused when it goes down from the Old Testament. Right? I believe it was the book of Micah. Is Micah?
Right.
Right? The last book?
Yeah.
Malachi, right? Malachi.
Right.
So there's the last book, right? Then after that is what? Matthew, right? And you don't know what's going on.
Right.
You don't know. I had no idea what's going on. All you see is Gentile this, Gentile that, the Greeks, Romans. That's all you see. You don't know what the hell's going on. No, ask no questions. You know why they don't ask no questions? Because they don't believe in the Bible.
Right.
They don't. Why? You know what a Christian say? Ain't nobody ever seen Christ. That's what Christians say. Why? Because they don't believe that the story really happened. They don't believe this is real history. They don't even know the Jews were real people. They don't know that they Jews.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why they don't care about one thing about Christians. They don't go into other books because they don't think like it's real, right? So keep going, sir. Matter of fact, this is just gonna keep on talking about the crazy stuff that they did. We all know the white man's the devil, and it's going to just proves it more, right? That he was terrorizing us back then. He's terrorizing us now. But drop down to verse 60, sir, if you could.
Come on, verse 60.
Mm-hmm.
At which time, according to the commandment that at which time, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 60. At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised. And they hanged the infants about their necks and rifled their horses and slew them that they had circumcised them.
They hang the babies by their necks, man.
Yeah.
For what? Being circumcised.
Mm-hmm.
Getting your foreskin, taking the foreskin off from the 8th day made you get hanged. But you want to make a covenant with the heathen? You want to love them? Like how, even if somebody was to do that to me, right? To do that to me, in order for me to take that customs, why would I want to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Why would I be like, okay, bro, like I'm gonna trust you now. You just finna kill me for not being with you. Now I can go with you and be good. You was finna hang my child. That's what they did. And now that's why you got today Planned Parenthood.
Right.
Damn, they're hanging your children. They come over there and y'all see the procedure of how abortions are? Same thing. Mm-hmm. Now, and that's if you do line with America, they still kill your children. Right? That's sad. Lining yourself with America means killing your children.
Right.
That's what Planned Parenthood is. If you want to be like America, you got to kill your children. Mm-hmm. Now, with that, that's it. Let me see if I got any questions online. So basically, through the time of Antiochus, he made his whole life mission to do what? Be the devil in the earth and make sure these people leave their God and serve the Greeks and make everybody in the whole world one people.
Right.
And that's what they want to do. And when they make it one people, what do they mean when they make it one people? Make them all serve the white man. That's what it means. I'm gonna make you all Greeks. I'll make you all make you servants unto me. And that's why today you have America. And everybody is damn near American. Everybody believes in the American dream. You got Chinese people come over here. You got the Arabs come over here. The East Indians come over here. All these different nations come over here and live in America and make themselves one people.
Right.
Right? Now with that, get the security announcements.
Go on. This is the Israelite. This is the ISUPK. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. If a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. After six months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18, verse 21, in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations.
Upcoming holy convocations, we have the memorial of blowing of trumpets. First day of the 7th month, Sunday, 25th, September 22. You find this in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 24 to 25.
All right. If anyone wants to become a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boot, shirt, pant, headband, or scarf. This is the ISUPK security announcements. Passing the class back over to Officer Godiwan.
All right, with that, we're going to Majum, means stand. We're going to Sar, face the east. All right, we're going to do the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Repeat after me. Salakia. Abanaw.
Abanaw.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Haya.
Haya.
Samka.
Shamka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakwatka.
Malak.
Taba'ah.
Taba'ah.
Ratazayaka.
Ratazayaka.
Haya.
Haya.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Ba'arataza.
Ba'aratza.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Haya.
Haya.
Bashemayim.
Bashemayim.
Lathan
Tano.
Lakam.
Come.
Call.
Call.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalak Lanawa.
Wasalaki now.
Kawawati Nawa.
Kawaki now.
Kasalak Nawa.
Kasalaki now.
Kawawati Nawa.
Kawaki now.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Tabia Anawa.
Wala'a.
Banasayawan.
Banasayawan.
Abal.
Abal.
Awashinawa.
Ayashawa.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Rai.
Rai.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Hamalakwa.
Amalakwa.
Waha Allah.
Awala'a.
Watha Pa'arath.
Awala'a.
La Walayim.
Awala'a.
Aman. In the English. Our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come.
thy will be done
Will be done
in earth
in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
daily bread,
and forgive us our debts,
forgive us our debts,
and we forgive our debtors.
forgive our debts.
And lead us not
Lead us not
into temptation,
temptation,
deliver us
deliver us
from evil.
from evil.
For thine is the
For
kingdom,
thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory
forever.
forever.
So be it. All right. Do a courteous salute to the brothers. My name is Ramazim Shabbat. Mazim, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Atam, Hadim Matah. Sisters, Majim, stand. We're going to give a courteous salute to the sisters. My name is Ramazim Shabbat. Majim, Barak, Yahweh Shema Atan Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh Matah. Dismiss.